Messy hair, messy desks, messy emotions, messy lives. We have spent a decade being sold perfection, the spotless kitchen, the neutral aesthetic, the morning routine that changed my life. But now, something has shifted. The new status symbol is not polish, it's honesty. The mess is not just aesthetic anymore, it's rebellion. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. Today, we are exploring one of the quietest cultural reversals of our time: how messy became the new authentic, and why disorder now feels like relief. So, the number one is the rebellion against perfection. For more than a decade, culture worshipped control: clean feeds, white spaces, capsule wardrobes, 5 a.m. habits. It was an aesthetic of having it together. But psychologically, that image of control became oppressive. We reached a point of perfection fatigue, a state where the constant demand for order and improvement started to feel emotionally suffocating. Perfection stopped feeling safe, and imperfection started feeling honest. So, messy emerged as rebellion, a social permission slip to say, I'm human, I'm allowed to fall apart. The chaos became a comfort, the cracks became the proof. Number two is the authenticity illusion. Here is where psychology comes in. Messy has turned into what researchers call authenticity signaling, a way to communicate I am real in a world that feels over curated. It's why creators post bad lighting selfies, why influencers film chaotic morning vlogs, why brands now show behind the scenes footage instead of glossy ads. None of this is random, it is psychological marketing. We have learned that audiences don't trust the perfect anymore. Perfection now signals manipulation. Mess signals truth. But there is a paradox. We have started to curate imperfection. It's not always a spontaneous, it's strategic mess. This is what psychologists call performative authenticity, the act of constructing realness for social validation. Still, even if the mess is curated, the emotional truth behind it is real. We are exhausted by control. Number three is the aesthetic of emotional honesty, the messy aesthetic, the unmade bed, the cluttered workspace, the undone hair is not about laziness, it's about vulnerability. It says, I'm not pretending anymore. Psychologically, that's powerful. According to research on emotional regulation, when people express vulnerability instead of suppressing it, they experience relief and connection, not shame. So the messy movement is emotional realism. It's our collective exhale after a decade of optimization. When life feels unpredictable, curated chaos becomes a soft rebellion against burnout. Number four is the collapse of the professional persona. Then came the pandemic. The boundaries between personal and professional life collapsed, literally overnight. The Zoom backdrop with the plant, the coffee mug, the cat walking past became our new stage. And that changed something fundamental. The corporate polish lost its power. Relatability replaced aspiration. We moved from aspirational culture, be admired, to relatability culture, be understood. In other words, the polished expert inspires, the messy human connects, and connection always wins. Number five is the psychological relief of chaos. There is another reason we find comfort in mess. It feels alive. Psychologically, clutter signals energy, movement, presence. Minimalism, in contrast, began to feel cold, almost lifeless. So the rise of messy is also about reactance theory, our instinctive resistance to rules or constraints. When society tells you to be clean, calm, optimized, you eventually crave disorder. Mess becomes liberation, a symbolic no to perfection. That's why people now post crying selfies, show their chaotic homes, or share burnout stories online. It's not exhibitionism, it's permission. It's saying, if I show you my chaos, maybe you will feel less alone in yours. Number six is the fatigue of optimization. For years, we have been told to be our best selves, better habits, better routines, better everything. But constant optimization comes with a cost, identity fatigue. When every part of life becomes a self improvement project, you forget how to just exist. That's why we now romanticize mess as freedom, a small defiant act of self acceptance. Mess says, I am done performing. I am choosing peace over polish. Number seven is the meta irony. Of course, there is irony here. The messy we see online, the undone bun, the scattered desk, is often as curated as perfection once was. This is what researchers call meta authenticity, the performance of imperfection for credibility. We now style chaos the way we once styled minimalism. And yet, even this paradox tells a truth about our culture. We don't actually want perfection, we want permission. Permission to show up as we are, a little tired, a little undone, but still trying. So, what's the takeaway? We like messy things because we are exhausted by control. Mess says you're allowed to be in progress. It signals honesty, humanity, and relief. It tells us that imperfection is not failure, it's freedom. Because when everything feels performative, even a little chaos feels like truth. Maybe the mess was never the problem. Maybe the problem was believing we had to clean up to be worthy. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. Please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.